The fact that everybody's goal is higher in our tier list than like 20 other franchises is like baffling.
I was gonna say it's a good franchise.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to a special episode of the HGO Podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me on this momentous occasion are my good friends Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter.
I'm doing just swell.
And Jack. Wow.
It's good to hear Hunter say that again.
Jack, where have you been? Where have you been? It's only been how many episodes? Too many? I don't know. I don't
Did the
keep
Mario
track.
movie come out?
I've been moving, as you can tell.
He's been moving for 8 months. It's been a long process. He walked himself all the way there. It's crazy. But no, welcome back, Jack. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it genuinely has when you look at it. I'm like, wow, it has been ages.
I'm so rusty. I don't remember what to do, but I'm just gonna vibe.
You're fine. You've got a new mic. You've got a new setup. You're looking good. We're feeling good. It's episode 200 of the HGO Podcast. Do you feel old yet? It's episode 200 of this show, which is crazy to me because I didn't think we'd make it to 20, never mind 200, which is mind-blowing. Here we are. Have we gotten any better? Who knows? Maybe.
I'd like to think so.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? Some of those first
Surely
few episodes
better than we
rough.
were in episode 20.
Yeah. Well, that was the episode 20 was the first one with webcam, so everyone was super awkward, didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the first episodes.
Do you not? I just remember that me and Hunter decided to start it on a random day, talking about Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal, and ever since, it's been downhill from there. But no, whether you are new here, God help you, or you've been here for a while, God help you even more. Thank you so much for being around for however long you have been. It's not the end of the season yet, because that's not how this show works, apparently, but we're really grateful for your support over the years that we've been doing this. And hey, will we make it to 300? Let's find out, I guess. This is, like I say, didn't think we'd make it to 100, or 50, or 10,
20,
really,
apparently.
to be honest, or 2, to be honest. Let's be real here, because Hunter wasn't on the second episode, and I was like, without him, I don't know if I'll be bothered to drag myself along. But yeah. It's been a wild ride. Thank you ever so much for being with us. Jack, we brought you back at a great time because, nothing screams Yaka being more than PlayStation franchises. I mean, Jack, how many have you played? At least 2.
I'd say more than that, but like the franchises I've played were like way back.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you played the best ones, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Big for Jack.
I mean, as far as I know, you've got Crash Bandicoot and Metal Gear. Those are the best ones.
yeah, my parents were really loving. They bought me the good games.
There you go then. There you go. You got nothing to worry about. So yeah, we did this about 2 months ago, where we ranked every Nintendo franchise. Today we're doing something similar where we rank every PlayStation franchise with an asterisk. We've added a couple of extras. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, if you're new here, this is the HGO Podcast. We're here every Monday around 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern on podcast services everywhere, and at youtube.com/HotGamersOnly, where you can look at our stupid faces each and every week. I'm not going to do housekeeping because we are pre-recording quite a few of these. This is the last pre-recorded episode, though, so you'll be back to regular... What will we have changed? You'll be back to your regularly scheduled program, and we'll be back off break next week. So we'll see how that went for everybody involved. We're still in the middle of recording all these, so it doesn't feel like we're gonna we're on break. But hey, we'll get there eventually.
Have
but
you noticed a difference?
Have you noticed a difference? Hopefully not. I'm hoping everyone's like, no. If anything, they're better, and I'm like, good. That means we can do them with more preparation instead of doing it the night before. That'd be great, especially for a couple of them at least. But yeah, let us know what you thought of all of these pros, cons. Let us all know either in the YouTube comments section, as you like to do frequently, or if you're on podcasts, hit us an email at hotgamesonly@gmail.com, and we'll read all of that jazz and stuff like that. Let's just get straight into it. So, if you guys, I've sent you all a link if you haven't gone to it already, but unlike the Nintendo one, there wasn't a good tier list for the PlayStation IPs, because it was either individual games, so we'd be here all day ranking every entry in the video game.
Oh, no.
And a lot of them were missing stuff out, so it's like some of them didn't have stuff like Little Big Planet, which I feel like is something that you need on one of these lists. So, I made one myself, which is to say that chances are I probably forgot something, and if it's your favourite, I'm sorry, you'll just have to live with it. We've picked quite a few.
Eyetoy.
Yeah, we did. I included Eyetoy at the last minute, right at the bottom. So if you were looking for our opinions on Eyetoy, you're going to have to wait a while. We also decided to include a couple of quirkier ones like Crash, Spyro, Metal Gear, Final Fantasy. I know they're not exclusives, but a good period of their life was an exclusive at some way, shape, or form. And we're just comparing those ones as they were in that era, not necessarily them in general. Because when I was doing research for this, and what you notice is, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, guys, but PlayStation in terms of, Mario, like Nintendo, Mario, Zelda, they were all there from the beginning, whereas for Sony, a lot of their original IP and their exclusives were from third-party developers. So you have this kind of issue of no IP till the PS2.
Is centered around, like, things that are now everywhere.
Yeah. So, we could have, like I say, we could have included so many IPs at some point, because there have been IPs that have been a PlayStation exclusive at some point in their life. Could have included Resident Evil initially, but it's like, for now, I was like, larger franchises that kind of, you assume, so Final Fantasy is there mainly for PS1. And the same goes for Crash and Spyro. But we'll go through them, and we'll see how it goes. And Jak will be interesting, because if he hasn't played them, then he gets an equal vote in this, just based on their existence. So that'll be fun. So no pressure, Jak. Good luck.
Hooray.
Yeah, it'll be good. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I've just noticed something. Let me just fix this. Where are we?
Oh, no.
That. Yep, we've made a boo-boo.
Happy 200th
There we
episode,
go.
everyone.
Happy 200th episode, everybody. Is it going well? Probably not.
Is it going how you expected?
Yeah, probably.
I'm glad nothing's changed.
That one. Why is it not showing up? This is going great. I'll just have to use the local audio for this one. It's all good. Whatever.
Oh, man.
It's fine. Just have to remember to use it. Actually gonna have to sync it. Oh well. Let's get started regardless. Shall we? Let's start with Metal Gear Solid.
Alphabetical order?
No, we're not doing it in alphabetical order. We'll do it in the order here, Jak, because otherwise we're going to be playing the Guess Who of, can we spot the
alphabet?
A? Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, it's up to you, Jak. If you really want to find them in for us, that'd be great.
Would Ape Escape not be first? Spoilers.
I already wrote Metal Gear on the timestamp. It's too late.
Well, it's too late then, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, there we go. I'm glad
There you go. There you
Okay,
go.
Metal Gear.
Let's get started with Metal Gear Solid. How are we feeling about Metal Gear Solid? I haven't played any of them, to be honest, so I don't have a...
Damn. You're
Not
missing
yet.
out.
I have the Master Collection, which is a way to play them, so maybe I will at some point. I think the rest of you, though, have at least played one Metal Gear, right?
I think we've all played Metal Gear 1.
I've played
At least at
most,
MGS1.
I've played most of them.
I've played MGS 3. I've not actually played MGS 1 or 2, but I know a lot of them.
Really?
I've only
So how
played the
are you-
first one.
So how are you feeling about Metal Gear, Jak? I'll go to you first, because you're the guest here. Not used to hearing your opinions, so go for it. What do you think of Metal Gear, other than you liking it when it's in Smash Bros?
Of course, we'll come back to that. I don't know, obviously, with the Kojima game, it's really interesting, just with the story and the plot and all that, but in terms of gameplay and that, it's so different from what you'd usually play, obviously because the genre is stealth or whatever.
Like a stealth action game, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it says there, Jak, tactical espionage action. There you go. It says it right there.
Oh, it was basically the first of one of a kind. What I would say, so from playing MGS3 in the past, I just really like the game. It's good, it's solid, haha, funny.
You should sell yourself more, Jak. That was great. You should, don't deprecate yourself. That was good. It was good.
Shut up, you put me on the spot.
It's all good. But no,
I don't
Metal
know,
Gear's good. Metal
that's
Gear's
what he
solid.
does.
It is.
I just say it's really, really good. I think one thing I really like about the series in total is just like how campy the whole series is as well. Like it never takes itself too serious, but it's at the same time it's such like a political commentary on like the world and that.
It's Kojima being Kojima, right? He's a little freak.
It's
like,
literally
in everything that he does. To be honest, it's like people are like, "Oh, is that just Metal Gear?" And then you get to Death Stranding, and it's even more bizarre and weird, and you just go, "Yeah, it's just Kojima. That's just how he is."
Yeah.
So the
Kyle?
other thing as well is like,
Go on, Jack, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No,
So the other thing as well is like the characters are really relatable as well. Like even though like Snake's like a hard shelled kind of tough nut to crack, but like you can really relate to him no matter what game you're playing. So with Metal Gear 1, like if you don't know much about Metal Gear 3, it's a different Snake. It's technically Big Boss. It's like they're just really interesting characters to get to know about throughout the stories.
Yeah. Kyle, how do you feel after playing only one?
I think what definitely sold me on Metal Gear Solid 1 is the fact that it didn't feel like there was another game like it on the PlayStation in terms of its presentation. Yeah, like the graphics look blocky nowadays, but beyond that, like the cutscenes and the voice work especially, like that is honestly movie quality voice work.
I think the thing that Kojima kind of
cast.
I feel like the thing that Kojima is kind of like the visionary behind, and kind of you can see that everything that AAA studios started to do around the PS3 360 era, Kojima was already doing on the PS1.
It all started here,
Yeah.
I've been saying that on this show forever now, that like Uncharted happened because of Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Essentially.
A decade after it, which is crazy. Hunter, I know this franchise is a special one for you. Like, we won't lie here.
I've been, and it's great because I've been replaying the Legacy Collection for the benefit of some of my friends to watch, and it's been just a joy to go through. We're in the middle of 3 right now, but like as far as the series and what it means to PlayStation's legacy, and just I still think they're immensely fun and impactful. It's an S tier series.
I did forget to say, let's go back to the tier list real quick. Oh, and my mic's fixed now. Excellent. I did nothing to change it. Wow. I love OBS. It's great. I've changed the names here. They're similar to what we had last time. So we've got Goated, which is the S tier. We've got Pretty Good. We've got Meh. We've got Pretty Bad. And then, as always, Cringe at the bottom, because we're children. So I feel like is everyone in agreement that Metal Gear's pretty S tier? Like, even I haven't played. I've dabbled with them. I've not played a full entry. But even I'm like, there's nothing quite like Metal Gear anywhere. Like, it is just such a great series. Is anyone in disagreement?
One of the impressive things about the series, even entry to entry, they managed to be different enough from each other to still feel like a completely unique experience, despite making sense as being in the same series. It's really cool that way.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Jack, what were you going to say?
I mean, also other series have taken inspiration from Metal Gear as well, like Splinter Cell and
like literally every game, every AAA game that came after it. Yeah,
it's just that good.
Yeah. So I feel like this is the easiest S tier that we're probably going to get today. So let's drag it up there. But when you put Metal Gear in that top spot, it's now going to make everything else a lot more interesting in comparison, because you got to compare everything to Metal Gear that we have been doing since '97 anyway. But we might as well start now with going from apples to oranges here. Everybody's Golf. Such a Jack, you've played Everybody's Golf, which is good because I think this is. Has anyone else played Everybody's Golf? I don't think I've ever played Everybody's Golf.
It would be Hot Shots Golf for Kyle and Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It's had a different name over here. No, I've never played it.
Americans just don't like the idea of sharing, dude. Everybody's Golf. Nah, dude, only Hot Shots allowed. No, not everybody. I've played demos of this. I remember very UK reference here, but Jack's here, so it's fine. When there used to be Brewster's or Wacky Warehouses, Jack, and they'd have PS1s or PS2 demo stations up everywhere. Everybody's Golf was just one of those games, the original Jak and Daxter and something like that would be there.
You'd have Spyro, and that.
Yeah, 100%. So I've played little bits of Everybody's Golf here and there, like back on the PS2, when I was at these places, but I've never owned it. It's people
I still
really
own
like
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
People love Everybody's Golf.
I've not played any games past PS2, but the one that I played, and I still own it, and I played it like 2 years ago, back when I moved into my other flat, and honestly, it was a blast just replaying that game. It's basically, the best way I could describe it, it's like if you know how to play Mario Golf, it's got the same kind of gameplay mechanics of where you have the bar on the bottom.
That's what it's always looked like to me. It was
Yeah,
just
but
Mario
it's a
Golf
lot
without-
more... The
but
way
you
I
could play as
feel...
Kratos.
Yeah.
We've not got to that point yet.
Let him cook, Cal. Let him cook.
I think what's just really interesting with Everybody's Golf, I feel like there's a lot more control over what you can do. And as a person that, like, I'm actually, like, a big golf person in real life. I really like golf.
Uh-oh.
Being able to just control whatever you want to do with the ball and how you're hitting it and where you're placing it on the green or whatever you're doing with your drives, I think it's just really good. A lot of really good mechanics. The courses are really fun to play on. And there's actually a mission mode for the one, so for the PS2, I can't remember the name. I think it's just called Everybody's Golf. Let's be honest. I think that was the first
I think
one.
all of them are called Everybody's Golf, because it's like the PS4 one is also definitely called just Everybody's Golf, and I feel like the PS Vita one was also called it. Like I think that's just what they went for. I know it's usually like there's a number in the end, but
the mission mode's really good. Like you get so many like side quests to do, just like playing other characters in match play or stroke play. For anyone who doesn't know what those things are, I'm really sorry, but
it's fine. We don't need a.
We're
crash
not explaining
course.
golf here.
Yeah,
we're not explaining golf here today.
You'll
But
live.
Really good. I love it. There's a shop. You can buy equipment, upgrade your stuff. Really cool.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So where do y'all think that we should land the golf?
I'm already changing the names of our tiers already from the start of it, because I feel like saying pretty good isn't positive enough. So I'm changing that to solid and then all right instead. I think Everybody's Golf's a solid, man, because they don't come too often. With Japan Studio dead, they probably will never come again. But it was always a good time when it came out, and I never heard anybody complain. And people just,
I enjoyed revisiting it.
It always,
last
even the
time I had-
PS4 one was really solid, apparently. So it's like, it's
Yeah,
a
the last time I
consistently
had
good
heard about
franchise.
this game was like a year or two ago. Just one of the games media people just decided, well, I'm gonna play this for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna play this for a weekend. Come play with me, friends. And I'm like, huh.
I will
Interesting.
definitely say you'll get a lot more replayability out of it than you would like newer Mario Golf games.
Oh yeah, I always thought that
No,
it was.
that's not
It,
saying
even,
much.
it always looked higher quality than Mario Golf. No offense to Mario Golf, but it did seem more of a premium
No
kind of
offense,
game to
Mario
it.
Golf.
But I think it's a solid. I think it's a solid franchise, to be honest. Because as far as I'm aware, there isn't a bad Everybody's Golf. Even the Vita one was good. Whereas you know some of these other franchises that we'll talk about later. I mean, let's be real here. When you look at PlayStation's franchises, there's so many that are good. There are so many solid and good picks here. But yeah.
God, I really want to go play it now.
Yeah, well, too bad. You gotta sit through this
I'm actually
podcast first.
itching to play it.
Too bad
Too
you're
bad.
stuck here for 2 hours.
If you're good, we'll let you play it at the end. Let's move on to Singstar. I mean, has anyone played Singstar before? I've played Singstar.
I've
so I
never
can
even heard
very...
of this.
So Singstar,
Is it just a karaoke machine?
Yeah, it's just a karaoke machine thing, basically. You get a microphone. I had it when I was younger on the PS3. It did the job.
A ringing endorsement there. Singing endorsement, even.
Sounds like it's going in all right.
Yeah.
It did the job.
It did the job.
Is it your basic karaoke?
It
song
is.
thing?
You know, no, I'm going to put pretty bad because... No, because
Alright.
it did the job, but there was nothing... It didn't have anything special about it. It didn't have any kind of, like, quirkiness to it that really made
Was there
it
anything
feel
that made
different.
it feel like a
No.
game rather
It
than
was
a
just a
karaoke?
karaoke
No,
machine.
it was just there wasn't like, you know, it's not like other karaoke games that you've had in the past, or like it's not like it's got some personality like a Yakuza minigame or like a Rock Band where, you know, you've got these stupid characters dancing around doing all that jazz. And like I say, I feel like for the same price that you'd get SingStar, you could get Rock Band, and you could play guitar, sing, drums, and bass on that if you wanted to. I feel like that's more of a fun time. It felt very clinical in the way that it was handled. I mean, you can tell from the logo; it's grey and grey, right? It's like it was a very clinical.
Grey and grey.
Yeah, it was a very clinical process. And in any other tier list, I'd put it in all right, but I feel like there's some high quality games coming up, and I don't want to make other people feel bad that SingStar's in the same category as them. So, yeah, we'll put it in all right. Next up is a newer franchise that I don't think Jack has played, Insomniac Spider-Man games, because that is technically a franchise.
Question.
Yeah.
Does Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 count?
No.
Nah, who was
We
that
are
made
solely
by?
talking about the Insomniac ones.
Okay.
2018, 2020, and 2023.
Ah, okay, cool.
And Kyle has played one of them, and Hunter and I have played
We've
all three of
all
them.
three. Yeah.
And the awful DLC to boot. I'll be honest here. I think it's solid.
Yeah, that's about where I'd put it.
I put it above everybody's golf, just because I have more experience with it. But I still think it's solid because they have their own problems. That's the thing with Spider-Man is it's like they're great games, but man, did the final thirds suck in both of the main ones? Like it's like like they fumble the bag a bit near the end.
Yeah.
They might nail it in the next one, but so far I feel like it's pretty solid. Like I have fun. They're kind of popcorn games, right? Where it's like I look at other narrative games that Sony has done in the past, and I'm like, they're a lot better than Spider-Man. But also I have a lot of fun playing Spider-Man, where some of these games, we'll get onto later, have good stories, but I think are shit in terms of gameplay. So
yeah, Spider-Man's like a really easy game to just play too. Like I played it over the span of maybe like 5 days, the newest one, and easy sailing.
Yeah. I mean, they're always good.
Last act.
They're always good. I know Jack hasn't played them, but they're always good to just hop in and piss about and swing around for a bit. They're just like those kinds of fun games where you don't even have to go in.
I've only played like 10 minutes of the game. The PS4 game that came out, was that Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2?
Yep. No, Spider-Man
I
1.
pissed about that for like 10. Spider-Man. I pissed about that for like 10 minutes because a friend had it, and I was like swinging about. But honestly, like, it feels really good just to control.
It's a very tight game. And as they go on, they just get tighter, and I think they're great. Like I say, it's just, it just has that kind. It just has little issues that just keep cropping up again and again that kind of stop it from being higher. Yeah. Which I hope in the third one, third time's the charm. Well, fourth, I guess, because of Miles, but
they're still reliable levels of fun.
And they're still great. They're still extremely great. Ape Escape is next on the list. Who here has played Ape Escape? I have also played Ape Escape. Kyle,
I played the first one.
I have also played the first one, which is never a good idea because I've heard 2 and 3 are better. From
Metal
the first
Gear
one,
Solid 3 had a mini game where Snake could tranquilize little Metal Gear monkeys from Ape Escape.
No, I think
It
Ape
was
Escape
great.
3 had the Metal Gear Solid mode in it.
Oh, this must have
funny.
been the crossover because the Metal Gear Solid 3 mini game was called like Snake versus Monkey.
Was it not like Substance Edition or whatever?
I think that was actually the Snake Eater edition. Subsistence took it out.
really
Substance. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
bizarre.
it is bizarre. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That
Ape
was why
Escape
Metal Gear's
1.
goated.
Ape Escape 1 was a video game.
It was a video game.
I played it back in high school. My friend had a copy of it. He loaned it to me.
I feel
played
like
it
the only time I
a
played
lot.
Ape Escape was through like Eyetoy.
I played it.
But we're not here yet.
I'll be real with you. I think it's all right.
Yeah.
The first one controls like ass. It's
It
really
controls
not
so
good
bad, dude.
controlling, and I assume they get better
was
over
cool.
time. But I think there's better. Like when people are always like, "Why doesn't Ape Escape come back?" and I'm like, "Join the queue, mate. There's like a queue of IP from Sony." bring Jak and Sly back before Ape Escape. Like, come on, we've got better stuff to be bringing back. It's fun, it's quirky. The voice acting's terrible wherever you play it, which is always a plus. But it has different voiceover for the English and American versions, which is always fun. It's one of those rare few that got an English dub, which is fun. Because I think the English dub's better for the most part, but it's still bad in its own special PS1 way. It's no Metal Gear, I'll give it that. But yeah, I think it's fine, to be honest. Don't have too much else to add. Like, it's all right. It's all right. Middle of the pack. It's all right. I wouldn't put it in Singstar level. Like, no.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Ape Escape has personality.
Yeah. Next up, Buzz. Who remembers Buzz? Any buzzers in the chat? I love a buzzer, dude. I love a good buzz.
When you guys shouted this out during, saying what was on here, I was like the Toy Story platformer game that was on the PS1?
Jack, is this a UK thing? Is this from... Because it was from Sony UK, but I didn't know...
I feel like Buzz was a very UK thing, because I feel like if I ever spoke to an American about Buzz, they'd just look at me like I was talking to them in
So for those who aren't in the know,
why are there
Jack,
so many of these?
How would you describe Buzz for the layman who does not know what Buzz is?
It's basically, you would get 4 controllers, like in a game quiz kind of style, that connected to your PS2 through USB, but this thing was a bitch to fucking untangle. If you left these wires sitting about for too long...
I didn't own it, but I knew people who owned it, and it's like...
wire management.
It's literally just like a bundle of wires, because it's basically the controller it's just a piece of cheap plastic with a red buzzer at the top and then 4 coloured buttons.
Yeah,
and it's basically a quiz game show.
Says.
Yeah, basically it's a quiz show. So you buzz the buzzer to get in, and then you choose the answer from the 4 options most of the time. Is how it would go.
And your buzzer would be for timed ones, or race to the quickest, to
first person to answer. I
feel
first person to answer. Think of
I'm familiar.
Family Fortunes, where first person to answer.
It was the same team as far as I'm aware. It's the
Family
same
Feud for
team
the
that did
Americans.
Eyetoy, Eyepet. These were the same kind of. It was the same London team studios that were doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it was fine. I don't know, Jack. Were you negative about it? I thought it.
So when I was playing the games,
It's worse than Ape Escape. I'll give it that.
When I was playing the games, I was 10, 9 maybe, or something. So this is when family nights would actually be a thing, and they were great for family nights, and they caused lots of arguments, as you basically expect a family game quiz show would do.
Yeah.
But besides that, remembering back on it, really good. There was also other games as well besides Buzz, but were I think it's from the same studio, so you had stuff like Jungle Party or whatever.
Yeah.
It sounds like a
use the same controllers. So there was also the option of playing other games apart from Buzz. So your controllers weren't just tied them to one franchise.
It was that era, though. It was that era of plastic peripherals, chuck them in the fucking box, Guitar Hero kind of, get that shit in there, baby.
Yeah,
But
we don't have
honestly,
stuff like that
the
anymore.
primordial
honestly really
version
good.
of the Jackbox games, almost.
Yeah, no, that's a really
Kind
good way to describe it. Yeah, that's just a really good way to describe it. Obviously, after a good few uses, it does start to lose its,
It's Buzz.
It's
it starts to lose its buzz because you start to know the answers, and then it gets it gets boring.
I'd put it in the middle tier again with Ape Escape, but below Ape Escape, because I think Ape Escape did more unique things with what it was trying to do, but it was fine. It wasn't it had more personality than Singstar, so I'll give it that. That's why it's in the alright instead of.
I mean, my nostalgia glasses would say it was really good, but that's because nostalgia.
Well, get those nostalgia glasses on, Jack, because next up is Crash Banooka, so everyone's favourite.
Oh, baby.
I feel here's the thing, guys. You're just going to have to take note here that some of these are going to be extremely biased in a positive, and some are going to be extremely biased in a negative. It's Crash Bandicoot, I feel for all of us, it's a very important franchise to a lot of us. It was one of the first games that most of us played, if not the first.
Yep.
I don't remember playing a game before playing Crash, so it's like it probably was my first game I ever played. If we're talking about the exclusive ones in particular, 1, 2, 3, and CTR, fucking goated. Like, genuinely one of the best platformer trilogies of all time.
That's one of the strongest sets of
It really is.
games that you can have on a console. What more could you ask for?
And when people always say to me, I like that we can do this now because we did the Nintendo one, it's like, but when people always say to me, oh, Nintendo was built different or whatever, I'm like, look at the N64 and you got one 3D Mario and you got two Banjos or whatever, and it's like
everything else is just
but you got 3 Crash Bandicoots and a racing game that are all fantastic. You got 3 Spyro games again, all fantastic, and it's just like people don't really recall how good the platformers were on PS1 as well in comparison.
Yeah. Plus, I think Crash came out before 64, did it not?
No, it was the same year,
No.
but they were both being made at the exact same
It
time.
was 96, yeah.
I think Mario 64 was August and Crash was like September or October, so they were right next to
Mario
each
64
other.
came out in 97.
No, it
No.
was 6. Or is it 5? It might have been 5, actually.
It was
Nah, it would've been
96.
96. It would've been
Mario was
96.
96. I thought Crash Bandicoot came out in June, though.
Nah, Crash.
Right,
1
hang
came
on.
out-
Right, someone say
Crash
about how much
1
they
came
love...
out.
Jack, talk about how much you love Crash while we look this up, while we do some...
This orange, fuzzy little marsupial is the best thing to happen to my life.
So
Mario 64 was
came out on
June
my
96.
Thanks,
June
Stephen.
96, and then Crash 1...
Oh, you keep going.
August.
Cortex is the best.
August, there was
Okay,
3 months
August,
between
okay.
them.
Damn, that's close.
Actually, no, 2 months. I lie. 2 months between them. So,
The one thing that always encapsulates my mind, though, is how people always talk about how Mario revolutionized 3D graphics. But these games were obviously in development at the same time, surely.
oh, 100%. That's why if we say boring trivia that everybody knows, it's like, yeah, Crash Bandicoot's codename was Sonic's ass game 'cause it was a 2D. It was supposed to be a Sonic game, but going that way instead of going sideways. So it's like they're just two ways of going about the same kind of premise. Whereas Crash was taking a 2D platformer and making it go towards the screen, away from the screen, and keep the 2D sections as well to the side. Mario was like, what if we just have open exploration areas for you to explore? They were just two
have a
different
pixelable
ways of
camera,
going about
yeah.
solving the same problem.
I feel like Crash's methodology kept the actual like platforming challenges still in the game, as opposed to where most 3D platformers, like Mario or Banjo or whatever, it's more about exploring than it is the actual like challenging platforming.
Yeah.
I'd also say that Crash was the smarter way to go in the early generation, so that games like Banjo and Spyro could then take what Mario 64 did and do it better. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm a Mario 64 hater, me. I think that game is fine, but also I'm
Same.
like, I'm fine. I respect you for what you did. Also, there were
But I
other
don't
games.
have to like you.
Yeah, there were other games in the
We're
same
gonna
console
upset
generation
so
that were
many
better.
people.
I don't care. Hey,
I
Mario
don't
64
care.
fans, nice to meet you. Have you tried playing Banjo or Spyro? Because they're better. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate
heard
it.
of
I've
the
never
right
been a big
analog
Mario
stick?
64 fan either.
Are you a big fan of Mario 64? You'll like these better games. It's fine. But no, I feel like, especially because it's like, again, for a long period of time, Crash was the mascot for Sony for the entirety of the PS1 generation, basically. It was either him or Laura Croft, really. Like, that was it. Like, it was like those two, really. Should have put Tomb Raider on here if we were going to put stuff in there. Oh well, forgot.
Oh well.
Oopie doopsie. I haven't even played Tomb Raider. Has anyone played Tomb Raider here?
No.
I definitely
originals?
played them when I was younger, but like I can't speak intelligently about it.
The only one I remember playing was one on the PS2. The first mission is like in a city. I don't remember where. And the idea was you had to get up on the roof of a building or whatever. And I couldn't figure it out. And I turned it off. And that was my only experience of old Tomb Raider. I couldn't figure it out. And it was creepy as well. Because it was like evening or whatever. I was like, I don't like this. I'm turning it off. For me, Crash is goated. But it's like, is that
Absolutely.
bias?
No,
Who cares?
especially like
fuck it, yeah,
especially
right, I'll
like
get up there.
this sequence
Top of the
here
list.
of
Get
crap.
up
This is
there.
before any games came out that were like not even just okay. All of these were like great.
And even
Yeah.
if Crash 1 is kind of older, has kind of a bit of a rust, has a kind of bit of I don't know, slippiness to it. They've picked it up in 2 and 3, and unlike Mario 64, it actually got sequels on the same piece of hardware. So it's like, you know, and CTR banger game, dude.
CTR blows Mario Kart out of the water, dude.
Yeah.
Every day of the week.
It's
Every
not
time
even
I
fair.
try to explain to someone, that
Especially
CTR is a
Mario
better game.
64. Especially Mario 64. Like, I don't want to hate on Mario 64, but like, I feel like other Mario 64 is on the lower end for me. It's got some iconic tracks, but in terms of gameplay, Mario 64 is on the lower end of Mario Karts for me. Whereas the original CTR on PS1, fucking excellent.
Should have just made Crash Team Racing its own genre.
Dude,
It's a Mario Kart having its own genre.
I don't remember if I was saying this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, or if I think it was in the 2022 review, where I was like, Toys for Bob, whoever made Beanox, wasn't it? It was Beanox who made Nitro Fueled.
Yeah.
It would have been a much better investment making a new CTR than it would have been to make Crash Team Rumble. Like, it would have just been a much better investment in resources for everybody
involved. It would have been sick.
But oh well. It is what it is. Now from one visionary franchise to another, ladies and gentlemen, Eyepet. Who's played Eyepet?
I remember hearing about it.
I played Eyepet. Now I know what you're thinking. Ethan, when did Eyepet come out? That's a great question. Because, you know, if it was 2009, okay, I was 12 years old. I was probably above the age demographic for Eyepet. I vibed with Eyepet. It was pretty fun. It was like the PS... For those who haven't played it, it was basically the PS3's version of Eyetoy. But it was taking the ideas of... you can do the window washing with your hands like this, guys, and turned it into... Here's like Nintendogs, basically. Here's a pet that you can look and play for, and it'll be in your room like you are. And to be honest, as gimmicks go, it worked pretty well. I always think it's surprising when people, you know, again, we talk about the Wii being kind of a pioneer in motion controls. I'm like, PlayStation was there, but like was doing it at the same time, if not before Nintendo, and they were doing some equally cool stuff with it, I feel. Eyetoy was pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like we should move Eyetoy up here now while we're talking about Eyepet, because they're very similar.
Except Eyetoy did it better.
See, I think they're basically the same. Although I do have a bias for Eyepet. I don't know why. I feel like if I'm being honest, it's all right. Eyepet is all right. Would you think Eyetoy is solid, Jack? Would you say that Eyetoy is on the level of Marvel Spider-Man and everybody's golf? Can we be real here?
I'm saying it was good. I'm not saying it was pretty good.
I'm happy to say, I'm happy. Like, I've put Eyepet. Nah, fuck you. Eyepet's above Buzz. I don't care. I'm putting my bias in here, dude. I don't care. I'm happy to say that Eyetoy, already gonna spark some fires saying this. I'd be happy to put Eyetoy above Ape Escape.
I'll take it,
but no further. Because there was some fun with it. It was the Kinect before the Kinect. It did a better job of being the Kinect, to be honest. Like,
I mean,
the washing,
the quality
of
the camera was awful. Oh yeah, like the quality of the camera was terrible, but you expect that from such old hardware.
My favorite part is that camera was the same camera that they used for Eyepet later, and then the PlayStation Move in 2011. They used that same shit camera for like a decade, and I'm like, yes, bless you, Sony.
I got like a huge nostalgia
given
trip
the
when I was
quality
like,
of like the PlayStation 4 PlayStation camera, I wouldn't be shocked if it was still the same thing.
I got a huge nostalgia trip going back on my PS2 memory card that I've had for like 20 years. And like, usually when you create a profile on Eyetoy, you take a photo of yourself, and here's just me at like 8 years old in a really crap quality photo on the memory card like logo. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. I think Sony always does some interesting stuff with tech, though. You know, it's like PSVR, VR2, all cool pieces of tech. They always like to innovate and do wacky stuff, which is funny because with the way that they killed Japan Studio, you'd think they'd want to kill that idea as well of just having fun, like, you know. But they carry on.
No, there's still room to, you know, put a screen in the middle of your DualSense, apparently.
Oh, why not, dude? Why not? I still think in a perfect world the PSVR 2, those cameras that you can see in the real world weren't black and white. They were full color, and we could have had a new Eyepet game, dude. Outliving the simulation. That is my metaverse, ladies and gentlemen, is Eyepet in VR. Let's get it made. They're not going to make anything else for it, so we might as well make that. But no, they're always solid. They're always fun. Time to make people angry.
Yes.
I included this. I didn't include Death Stranding because
It's one game.
One game. And Ghost of Tsushima's one game. And even though we're getting but yeah, it's got its multiplayer mode as well, so which was standalone. So as it's a standalone, I'm classing that as good enough. We know we're getting a second fucker, so we might as well just get this over with, bite the bullet. I can taste the tension in the room as we speak. What are your guys' opinions on Ghost of Tsushima? Jack, I know you haven't played it, but Hunter and Kyle, I know you've played it, definitely.
Kyle, you can go first. I'm sure you have a lot to get off your chest.
Boring as hell is how I would describe this video game.
Here's the thing, right? I think it was just a game that wasn't for any of us, but when I look at it from a perspective of quality of the product, I'd be willing to put it at the low end of solid, but
it was a very pretty game, but also it just felt like every other game on the market to actually play. Just an open world crafting and collectible skill tree hoopla extravaganza.
Welcome to modern gaming, baby.
And it's like,
yeah, it's like
I'm tired.
Like I liked this game well enough, but I still am not gaga over it the same way that people were back on the year it released. But I'd say it's good enough to make it to where when Ubisoft is like, yo, we're going to Japan for Assassin's Creed, I'm like, I don't care anymore. So
see, whereas I'm saying, I'm like, when they're saying we're going to Japan and Assassin's Creed, I'm like, I might like it more than Ghost of Tsushima because they might actually focus on the stealth, whereas this game didn't. I think my main issue with this game is every stealth scenario that you could possibly envision was a lot quicker and easier if you just walked in there and did your down on the D-pad, get in the stance, kill 3 of them instantly, and break everybody's stagger instantly because the gameplay was easy. Like,
yep.
I feel like it's at the low end of solid. I think it's solid.
I would have said like the high end of B, but
same.
Yeah.
Is that
top
all right?
Of all right.
Top
right
of, you want to say top of all right? Okay.
Yeah, top of all right is where I would put it.
2 against 1, Jack. What do you think of Ghost of Tsushima? Assuming you haven't played it.
I have no opinions of it.
Good
well,
boy.
he's trying to.
That's the smart answer.
That's the smart.
It's like when if we were to cut off the list here, then yeah, sure, I'd be willing to put it here. But I think we'll have enough games that slot into above it to make it make sense that it's a tier below all of these.
And also,
That's
it's
fair.
really funny just seeing it next to Ape Escape.
It's next to Eyetoy.
It would have been also funny to put it
next to
Eyetoy. Golf.
Yeah, well, it would have been below golf. Next up, it's a big one. God of War. I feel like this is interesting because unlike a lot of these franchises, almost could be classed as 2. Split it in half.
That's. I was gonna say, are we encompassing the whole thing?
This is everything. This is everything God of War. This isn't modern God of War. This isn't classic God of War. This is just all of it together. Again, it's hard for me to take biases out of God of War, because I feel like for many this is like an S tier franchise, but I've never seen it that way, just because I've never properly gelled with it. I didn't really care for the PS2 games, and then by the time I got to the PS4 and now Ragnarok, I liked them. I thought they were damn good video games, but it was mainly the story that was carrying me through them. I didn't really care for the gameplay that much. So
I've never heard people talk about the game in that way, though. Like when a game is really good, that it's like, oh, you have to play this. I've never heard that about a God of War's game.
People were talking about this like that for 2018.
Yeah, 2018's definitely was like that, for sure. because that's why I played it, was because everyone was like, no, you should play God of... Like, I was not planning on playing God of War at all until reviews were out, and people were like, you need to play this game, even if you haven't played the others. And I'm like, okay, damn, I'll give it a try. And I liked it. I thought it was solid. It's a really high-quality video game. But as someone who's not a particular massive fan of hack and slashers, I'm still like, it's fine. The story was good. That's why I've never played the originals, because I know the story isn't that great, and I'm not a fan of hack and slashers, so I'm like, I probably won't like the originals that much.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Hunter, you probably have the most experience with God of War.
I think I've played all of them.
So what's your opinion on God of War? Because I feel like you're the most educated on this.
Get you.
Yeah, so, like, I think for both, like, branches of the series here, when 2018 split off and started with the new direction, and then everything before that, I think it was, in both regards, I think it's really good at what it's trying to do. As far as, like, God of War, the classic iteration of the series was crazy and bombastic, and kind of like the progenitor of, like, PlayStation's Uncharted set pieces and stuff, with the way, like, the Colossus of Rhodes and stuff in the beginning of God of War 2, I could see being kind of analogous to what they do later in some of their games with, like, the PS3. But, like, it's a tentpole franchise for the series, obviously. Kratos, for some reason, like, it's weird to me, because before 2018's game, it was curious that Kratos had so much staying power, because by that point, I feel like his shtick got old.
Well, angry man kills everything.
Yeah, angry man kill everything. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Beings of divine origin are horrible, Kratos. I feel you there, but it still gets old after a little while. But I still think, like, for what the old games were doing, they're really high quality for what they could be at the time. Like, the first game had some hiccups with the second half of the game's level design just gets booted to the moon.
God, it was so miserable.
But even then, like, the first part of that one is still really good. The boat level is great. The fight with the Hydra is fantastic. 2, I think, is the most well put together as far as, like, level design and all of that. And then I feel like 3 was where they got the secret sauce with the actual moment-to-moment combat and stuff. And then, 2018 Ragnarok, I feel like, took the series forward and, gave it a really good story while also being true enough to what it used to be that it felt like they weren't just discarding the history of the series.
Fair enough. Where would you put it then, Hunter?
Solid, I would say.
And Kyle, you got anything to add to that, or?
I mean, my experience with God of War, I played the first one fairly recently, like a year or two ago. I thought it was
came out.
I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fine enough hack and slash, but I feel like it got kind of stale after a while, and the combat on there wasn't anything I couldn't get somewhere else.
Yeah, I feel like
and then I played the opening of God of War 2018, and that's where I stopped.
That's fair. I feel like at the top of solid is fair for where I'm thinking, to be honest. Like, I've never really fully gelled with them. I think they're fat. I like them. I think they're high quality, but also, I won't lie to you, when they said that Cory Barlog wasn't directing Ragnarok and was making a new IP, I was instantly more excited for that than I have ever been for the God of Wars, because I was like, ooh, good story in a franchise I might care more about. That sounds like a good time. So I think they're fine. It's God of War, so it's interesting, because I have a good time playing them, but then when I come out of them, like we were talking off Screen Jack about, like, Tears of the Kingdom, they always go back, I'm like, yeah, but Ragnarok was just more of 2018 and stuff like that, where I'm like, I liked it. I think there's definitely parts better, but I'm like sitting there going, juggling my
You think
emotions with it all
yourself
the time.
though, like, did it improve anything like drastically?
Yes, it improved a lot, but I also think that the story and the pacing of the first one was, we talk about like Spider-Man, I feel like the pacing and the story of that one I liked more because it felt more personal.
Yeah.
I think there were some good parts of Ragnarok, don't get me wrong, but I also feel like Ragnarok's
got more parts that I actually think about, like, in isolation than the...
Yeah, but you think about a lot of
game.
things, Hunter. I have not thought about God of War Ragnarok since I beat it. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I genuinely haven't. I maybe remember the ending from time to time. But that's about it.
So is this going behind Spider-Man or after?
No, I'd put it
Spider-Man?
above Spider-Man because it's, again, those first two of the reboot, should I say, very solid video games. Right at the top of it. Gran Turismo. Anyone? Any GT fans?
Nope. Never played.
I should, like, whistle for my older brother. He loves Gran Turismo 7.
I
But
feel like if we're
I got-
talking about Gran Turismo, we're going to be talking about every racing game that's being made.
I think they're pretty. I think they're
I can't
decent.
differentiate them.
Because it's a sim every time, right? And I've always been more of an arcade racer kind of person. Like, I don't care for Forza, but I really like Forza Horizon. I like GTA Online's races because they're stupid and you're flying in the sky and you're shooting people and all that jazz. I don't really care for the nitty gritty F1 sim kind of video game. I don't care for it.
Yeah. I'm much more like I'd play like a Need for Speed game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough to be educated on where to put Gran Turismo.
like,
Put it in the middle.
I would just say it's a good franchise. Like, I mean, it does the job well.
like, for being something that I don't care about, it's very clearly, like, done at the highest quality you can.
Yeah.
I'll put it
something
above
like
Ghost of
this
Tsushima
for.
then, just to anger people. There we go.
Hell yeah.
To be fair,
I'll allow it.
maybe
Right.
it does better.
Gravity Rush, a franchise near and dear to my heart. I love Gravity Rush. What the fuck happened to Japan Studio, Sony? I want more Gravity Rush.
Oh, sevens.
No fun allowed.
Gravity Rush to me is like the last fun Sony IP, like the last brand new
Yeah.
IP that just felt quirky and fun and kind of reminded me of the PlayStation in the PS2 era. It's Jack obviously doesn't care about Gravity Rush. He's not interested in the slightest. I really love Gravity Rush. I think it's fantastic.
It's a really
I think it's
solid
one of
3D
Japan Studio's
platformer.
best things that they worked on, to be honest.
Yeah. The controls, like, they took a little bit to wrap my head around. I played it on PS4 when
Where it is
got
better.
released for
I'll
there.
give it that. I've
Yeah.
played it on Vita as well, and it was worse on Vita. So,
But like it took a little bit to wrap my head around how to move Cat in the first place.
yeah,
But I mean, it's still really fun.
You see, yeah, the whole concept, I believe, is like, I wish they would still do stuff like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same thing, but like something like
No, I want
cool
more of this.
gravity manipulation. Well, yeah, that too. But I mean, just in general, I wish PlayStation would do more stuff that isn't like maybe it takes a minute to get used to, rather than the focus tested to all get out things that we get from them these days. You know?
hmm
Yeah, we don't really get like quirky stuff from PlayStation anymore.
No.
It's all serious.
It's all
the
corporate.
time.
yeah. I think it's
That's why we're never getting another Eyepet.
Damn,
Sorry,
bro.
Ethan.
Oh no, not Eyepet. I think it's right. I think it's a very solid franchise, to be honest. Where would I put it?
I'd put it above God of War.
I would too, but I feel like that anger people.
No, it's funny. Do it.
Hunter, where would you put it?
I mean, I wouldn't put it above God of War, but
Coward.
On our current list of tragedies, where would you put
like
it?
on the current list of choosing between it, like personally, I'd slot it between Spider-Man and golf.
So by that logic, we'll go for a middle ground between God of War and Spider-Man.
Fair enough.
Perfect. Go team.
Pleasure doing business with you. Now for something. Now I can nuke something lower than it should be. Horizon.
Sweet. Put it in cringe.
No, it's not that bad.
Arguable.
Horizon.
Oh, come on. It's better than Ghost of Tsushima.
Arguable.
I genuinely, the more I
at least
think
like
about
Ghost's
Horizon, the
protagonist.
less I like Horizon. Like, every time, like, I play Horizon, I have a good time, but I'm like, it's like the white bread of open world games, dude. It's like, it just takes
Preach it,
everything
bro.
from everywhere else and goes, but look, we're pretty.
Preach.
Jack's making vape
Whatever's
clouds.
coming
That's how
from
bored he
you,
is.
Far Cry is the white bread of open world games.
Sure.
At least Horizon is like got a grain or something in it. At least.
You see, I don't know.
It's
Like,
whole wheat.
Yeah, something like that.
I really wish I played Horizon when it first came out.
Do
because, I mean, it came
You
out
played
at the same
Breath
time
of
as
the Wild.
Breath. Yeah, well, I was gonna say it came at the same time as Breath of the Wild, and everyone was comparing them like each other, and like
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, and I remember, this is what happened, Jack. I bought Horizon going, I don't need Breath of the Wild. We've got Breath of the Wild at home. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn. Can't wait. Played it for an hour, went, I'm not feeling this. I'm going to buy a Nintendo Switch and Breath of the Wild instead. And then I bought that, played through the entirety of Breath of the Wild, loved it. Then 2 months after that, I played Horizon properly for the first time again. And I was like, it's alright. It's pretty good.
It's another one of those games, though. I don't hear people talk about, like, you know,
We
after
don't.
so many years.
It's because I think it's over.
It's because
I
it gets overshadowed by
It's
something else.
oversaturated.
It's oversaturated is the point that I think the
'Cause,
reason I'm liking it less.
People
is 'cause of
liked
that.
the first one, and then PlayStation's like, yes, it's it feels like a PlayStation Splatoon in a modern sense, as far as
It
like,
genuinely is. I 100%
Yeah.
agree with that statement.
That's
Yeah.
such a really weird but accurate statement, and I don't know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
I still
because
agree.
like Nintendo made a new IP that people loved on the first go around, and they're like, yes, let's do it like 3 more times in quick
It's a
succession.
shooter still at the same time.
Horizon Zero Dawn was a success, and Sony was like, quickly, DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. Perfect. Great job, everybody. Now let's make sure that there's a next-gen patch ready for launch. Let's do an Horizon sequel. Then let's give that its own expansion again a year later after that. Let's do a VR game for VR2 called Horizon whatever the bollocks it was. Let's release
Let's
that.
thread in a
remaster the
multiplayer
first
game.
Meanwhile, let's leak that we're also working on Horizon 3, a co-op Monster Hunter-like Horizon experience that's going to be a multiplayer game. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want Horizon 3 in the next 4 years. Never mind if I want all this shite that you're adding onto it. And it's like, the Frozen Wilds for Horizon 1 felt like cut content. It felt like something that was supposed to be there, they didn't have time for, and then they added it in. And then Forbidden West DLC was worse than that, where it felt like they made it, but there was no point for it to exist in the slightest. So I'm like, that's great. It was a nice bit of filler. I thought it was fine. It did the job. But also, I would have been perfectly happy if it didn't exist. That's great. And now it's just like, it just keeps going and going and going. Say what you want about Ghost of Tsushima. I liked it, but I didn't particularly love it. But it's been 3 years, and there's still no sign of a sequel. Can't have said that about Horizon. Like, that's the thing.
No, but like, as far as comparing the actual games that I have played is concerned, I like both the Horizon games more than Ghost still.
Same, but I'm also like, the no Spider-Man or God of War, where I'm like, I am having a great time with these. They're like, I think these are fine, and half the characters are forgettable, dude. Like, I genuinely... We've had this like, the only reason I remember Varl and Aaron's names is because we've laughed so many times on this podcast that I've forgotten their names every single time I play them. So it's like, that's the only reason. I like
You bullied him
Aloy.
into learning.
I think Aloy is fine, but I also don't love Aloy that much either. I think she's fine. It makes me sad because my favourite character in Horizon was Silence, and now because obviously of Lance Reddick's passing, I don't know, we probably won't see him again, so I'm like, my favourite character's gone now too, so I'm like, oh, I like Horizon 3, but I'm not chomping at the bit for it. I think it's solid. I'm tempted to chuck it below golf though. I'm mad. I don't know why I'm so angry today.
I'll allow it.
Hunter, pull me
man.
back. Pull me back to reality.
No.
Convince me. Why am I going crazy?
Let the hate flow through you.
I can't in good conscience recommend putting it above golf. I've never played golf, but who am I to stop you, you know? Like,
Me.
Above golf?
Don't put it above golf.
Fine,
Don't put it
below
above
golf
golf.
then. Horizon, you're going below golf. I feel bad, though. No, I do feel like I'm making a mistake. I did like
Who
them in
cares,
the
dude?
West.
This is funny.
Ah.
I'm just saying, everybody's golf had Ratchet and Clank. Did Horizon? No.
That's a good point. That's a valid argument right there.
There you go. Quick question: where did Gravity Rush go? Because I was gone.
Between God of War and Spider-Man.
Excellent. Thanks for your help.
No problem. Anytime. Medieval. Does anyone play Medieval?
No. So going back on your
No, but I have
discussion
a
of how
funny
you
story.
played games in Brewsters on a demo disc,
Yeah.
you used to get those like magazines back in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I played Medieval was I think it was the PS1 like Medieval game.
Well, there was only the PS1. There was the PS1, then there was PSP, and then they did a remake for PS4.
Well, there we go. That's all I remember from that game, and I remember it being kind of spooky and creepy when I was young.
Hunter, what's your funny story before I annoy
Oh, right.
Medieval fans
So
more than I annoyed Horizon
so the
fans?
PS4 version
Yep.
there, when it came out, my brother bought it a while ago, and one time when we were hanging out, he was, you know, he does this thing that he likes to do where he's on the verge of passing out, but doesn't want to admit defeat. So he loads up Medieval for it to be the next thing we play together while I'm hanging out with him.
Yeah.
He was passed out before the opening cutscene was finished.
I think... You remember when... I feel like this is a low cut, but bear with me, boomers. Come join me on this little walk through memory lane. When
Sure.
NST was announced, and everyone was like, oh, that was pretty alright, when we were still pretty positive about NST. And then we were like, oh, Spyro will be next. And then PlayStation were they were like, our next remake is going to be announced at PlayStation, whatever it was. What PlayStation Experience was it? Was that what it was called back in the day?
Yeah, PlayStation Experience, PSX.
And they were like,
Bring
next
it back
remake's
in
going to be announced at
cowards.
PSX. And everyone's like, here we go, it's Spyro time. And they go, here's the reveal. And it was fucking Medieval. And ever since that day, I've hated Medieval.
Oh my god.
And then I finally played the
hate it
remake.
out of
No, I was
spite.
like, there's got to be a
Ethan,
reason they
Spyro
remade
came
it.
out. It's okay.
Yeah, but no, there's got to be a reason.
can't
No.
hurt you
So
now.
after Spyro came out, I was like, I was too harsh on you, Medieval. Let me give you a try, see if I actually like you. I played it, I didn't like it. It's like, you're just walking around swinging your shit, like, it's like, just swinging shit at me. It's like, it's a very basic kind of action platformer.
I don't
I've
remember
played
the
better.
gameplay at all, apart from walking about as a skeleton man.
Well, you see, this is the it had some quirky stuff to it that's quite fun. Like, you rip off your arm to use it as a weapon to fight other people. Like, you rip
Oh,
off one of your arms.
Splatterhouse does that.
I don't remember any of this.
I've
Maybe
changed...
I was too.
right, so I've changed the titles again, because again, I like, goated,
Oh my
solid,
God.
alright, met, and cringe is what I've gone with now. Because I feel like Pretty Bad was pretty harsh for Singstar. And the reason I changed it to meh is because I kind of want to chuck Medieval in there.
It's in the name.
You already had
Meh,
Meh.
Medieval.
Medieval, yeah, fucking, like...
Like, I don't know. It seems like something I'd like fine, but I haven't played it, so I've got nothing to like offer here.
This is like the most
yeah.
cursed
It's just-
list. I put it above Singstar. Nothing's going worse than Singstar,
Yeah.
as far as I'm...
Wait, is Singstar still in Meh or Pretty Bad?
No, that's in meh.
Okay.
Well, I've
below
changed
Medieval?
it. So meh is still... Pretty Bad's been changed to
God.
meh, because I still don't think Singstar's pretty bad. I feel like we should have set these boundaries and locked them, but I just keep changing them. So,
Okay, and then Cringe is bottom. Got it.
yeah, cringe is bottom. Nothing's in cringe.
I like how you guys keep changing the titles with them. I've just
I'm
been
so
left
glad
as the
all-
letters.
I'm so glad listeners on Spotify and such are going to understand this tier list now.
Don't worry, Jack. Welcome, yeah. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you like doing homework.
I hope you like obscure tier lists.
Infamous. It's pretty infamous, if you ask me. Yeah, I think it's alright.
Never played it.
I think it's alright.
I thought it always looked cool.
I
but
really
I've
like
just never
Second
gotten to
Son.
it.
The Second Son's the only one I've ever actually played all of. I screwed around in the other two quite a bit, but I never like did anything with any amount of purpose in them.
I think Cole, as a character, the main character of Infamous 1 and 2, has a good old case of the PS3 protagonist syndrome of, I've got a
Generically
I've
white
got,
and bald and staring at the camera.
Just generic kind of, I've got a deep voice and I'm cool. Look at my electricity powers. I can be good or evil. What am I going to be? And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, he's just very bland as a protagonist. I don't think he's interested. People hated on Delson, and I was like, I actually liked Delson as a protagonist more than I liked Cole as a character. I don't know why. Infamous is weird because it's the stepping stone to Ghost, right? It has, in the original anyway, I don't know if I can't remember if there were kind of like comic book kind of scenes in Infamous Second Son, but it still has that comic booky-esque tone that Sly had, but then it's kind of moving it more towards realism, and then Ghost of Tsushima just fucks that off into full-on kind of realism there. Yeah. I honestly think I like Infamous more than Ghost of Tsushima at the moment. Like, based off of the one Ghost of Tsushima game and based off of the 2 Infamous games I've played, I liked Infamous more so far. But that's also just because I like sandboxes where you get given stupid powers and you get to have fun with them, you know? Like, that's my jam. So I don't know how you feel, Hunter.
Yeah, the power set in Second Son was so cool.
Yeah.
Like the neon stuff with the running and the smoke. They made it. They constructed a really fun world to just move around in.
Dude, I remember watching the trailer for Second Son and being so excited for it. From just like the power move that you can do where you jump and spiral up in the air and then slam down like a nuke, or even just little small things that were so cool in my how old was I? 2013, 15-year-old head, 16-year-old head. Where I'd see, like, you just press the circle button and you, like, do, like, a dash where you turn into ash and you can go through smokestacks and then pop up at the top of the roof and do stuff like that.
That's part of what I was talking about, where, like, you chain that together with, like, the neon power. Every time you get
or
a new
the video
power,
wings,
it makes the world, it makes the world more fun to interact with in a manner that, like, it's kind of fun to compare this to, like, Spider-Man because, you know, moving around is fun in both of them. Infamous makes you do more stuff in a way.
Yeah. It also has that very video gamey thing of beating the end of Second Son, and it gives you a whole power set after the credits have rolled for no reason. And was it the worst one? Yes. But was it a cool little thing to just give you the powers anyway? Because a lot of times people will go, you know, you absorb the final boss's powers or whatever, and it take you straight back to before the final boss, because they hadn't programmed anything to give you that once you'd done that. But this game was like, nah, fuck it, you've got those powers now, have fun with it while you're completing the free roam. I think Infamous is pretty solid. I'd put it above Ghost. That's where I'd put it, is next to Ghost, but slightly above it.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
I also think, let me get this straight, but a second Ghost, refine your priorities a bit, make it more fun. I think that Ghost could be better.
Make it, like, trim down the fat.
Trim down the fat. Maybe make stealth viable instead of just a slow and boring opportunity. Like, that'd be great. Jak and Daxter. Any Jak and Daxter fans in the house?
I wish I played Jak and Daxter when I was younger.
I've played all of them, but I played them as an adult, though. This is the one PlayStation platformer that I didn't play when I was younger. Other than in Brewster's and Wacky Warehouses as a demo. I played that. But
big ups.
Here's the thing. I think Jak 1 is an extremely solid platform. I think it's great. I don't like Jak 2. Jak 2 and 3 does the sin of any PS2 game that went, oh, GTA is pretty fucking popular. Do that. Do kid GTA is basically what they went with. And in doing so, made themselves, in my opinion, more boring. I think Jak 3 is fine. I think the racing game is fine. Jak 2 I don't like. I don't know. I feel like if I'm the only person that's played these games, that I only have the fucking say.
Hold on. Jak and Daxter is a racing game?
Yeah, Jak X.
Jak X, I believe it's
Combat
called.
Racing. It's not as good as CTR.
This is news to me.
This is always a series that I've meant to get to because, like,
I'd still recommend it.
But...
Jak 1 you can play in a day.
You know.
Jak 1 you can genuinely play in a day. And there's a PS4 version of all three of these, which is great. Didn't do that for Ratchet or Sly, but they did it for Jak for some fucking reason.
That is really weird.
But no, I think Jak 1 is solid. I think the rest are fine. I'd put it below Ghost of Tsushima. And I think that's a controversial take, and I'm sure the Jak and Daxter fans in the comments. Also, Daxter on PSP is fucking ass. Can I say that? That's bad. That's a bad game. In the same way that
Better or worse than Secret Agent Clank.
Better than Secret Agent Clank, but Secret Agent Clank is like a war crime.
I don't even know I don't know anything about that except I know its name and I can assume the premise from that.
Right. Let's talk about fucking peak fiction right here. Little Big Planet, dude. This is including Sackboy: A Big Adventure, dude. This is going in solid, and you're not changing my mind on this. The Little Big Planet games are fucking great. I love them.
Wait, where did
So
Jak and
much.
Daxter go?
Solid. No,
Under
alright.
Ghost.
But below Ghost. Above Eyetoy. Sorry, Jack. Breaking your heart.
Below Eyetoy.
No, above Eyetoy. It's better than Eyetoy, Jack. Sorry, Jack. I'm sorry to break your heart. Bring you back on the show and break your heart. I'm so sorry.
It's what he does.
Little Big Planet is fucking great, though. I don't know who's played Little Big Planet here, but Kyle hasn't.
I've
because
played
it's
it
not
in-
a PS3
I've played
thing.
1 and 2 and they were okay.
I had
I
a
played
friend
it
in
in
middle
co-op.
school that never shut up about it.
Dude, they're great. If you grew up on
My
them,
sister really liked them.
yeah,
Put it this
Well, I
way,
they're
didn't
like-
have a
great.
PS3.
My
I-
childhood friend got me to play with him in co-op because he had a PS3.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a PS3 because I was like, well, you know me in the podcast if you watch enough episodes, but like I'm a big Nintendo guy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
so we
a
brought him on the
PS3,
PlayStation podcast. Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, well done.
Broadening,
Instead
of our
broadening your
PlayStation guy.
horizons, Jack. You're welcome. You're gonna have a nice list of games to play after we're done here.
Horizon?
You've just
Don't play Horizon.
You have just finished. You just fixed your PS4 controller. Look at all these games that you're gonna go and play, Jack. This is crazy.
You could go finish the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Remind me.
You still owe me money for that. Anyway,
Fuck off!
dude, with the way that the pound has crippled since then, dude, I think you owe me like 5 times as much as originally planned.
I owe
Anyway,
you probably like 80 quid or something.
yeah, probably something like that. Anyway, Little Big Planet.
You're buying his copy of Rebirth at this point.
Here's the thing. Little Big Planet 1, excellent game. Little Big Planet 2, incredible game. Little Big Planet 3 is pretty mediocre. Sackboy: A Big Adventure that came out for PS5, I am not joking when I say it, is probably one of the best co-op platformers since 3D World. It is an incredible platformer.
Even over what was that like co-op Sony game that came out? It was like the
I don't.
couples.
I think the answer.
Oh no, you're thinking of
is-
It Takes
oh.
Two. It's not a Sony game, but you're thinking
Yeah,
of It
yeah.
Takes
Is
Two.
it not? Oh, I thought it was.
No.
I thought Jack said Sonic, and I'm like, yeah. The answer is still yes, Jack.
Here's the thing. I'd put Little Big Planet below Horizon
Uh-huh.
as a
Okay.
middle ground. But I stand by it being solid. And I hope Media Molecule is making another platformer now that they're not working on Dreams, because I'd love to see a new Media Molecule platformer because they're fantastic at it.
I mean, to be fair, Little Big Planet did introduce like a lot of things as far as like the whole idea of putting creation tools in the hands of an
yeah.
audience.
You like Mario
Kinda
Maker?
started
you
here.
like Mario Maker? You have Little Big Planet to thank for part of that, because
The
the
one
amount of
thing I was
creation
gonna
tools
bring
that they
up-
made.
I think we might have them to blame for all the excess of skins and stuff that's in today's video game culture too. But
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
call it even at the middle.
I was just gonna say I thought this game was like the Mario, well, not the Mario, the Minecraft of like platformers
It is. It's
before
it
Mario
very much.
Maker.
Yeah, it very much. It has so many intricate systems. It's a really complex builder. Like, it's more complex than Mario Maker's builder was, like, in terms of what you could do with it.
But was it as good as Happy Wheels?
Probably, yes, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna forget about Happy Wheels. But no, I love Little Big Planet. I think Little Big Planet's fantastic. Really great set of platformers. Final Fantasy. Now, we're specifying here the PlayStation period of Final Fantasy, which was what do we where do we stop, Kyle?
7
the
7 through
expert.
12.
9.
7 through 12,
And also 16, I guess.
and not 11,
Yeah,
and
but
maybe the 7 remake part 1, because that's never coming to Xbox. I don't. Why haven't they ported that to Xbox? That seems like really harsh at this point. Like, that's not timed exclusivity.
it's
That's
funny.
just Square can't be fucked. Like.
I don't know. Maybe they had to put it on pause so it didn't interrupt anyone's arguments for their stupid legal stuff.
Maybe. Kyle, You're our Final Fantasy expert. What do you think of the PlayStation era of Final Fantasy?
I think they're all incredible. I think that the PS1 trilogy is some of the most solid RPGs ever. 8 is one of my favorite games of all time. I think 7 is still very playable to this day. And I didn't really jive with 9, but I would never discount its legacy. Final Fantasy Tactics is great too. It does medieval storytelling better than 16 did.
So we're putting this above Crash.
I would, but
I mean, here's the thing.
I mean, it's going in that category.
But I have a
I
bias.
think it should.
I think it should as well, because even though I haven't played any of them, we're talking again. Crash, fantastic, perfect set of platformers. They're great. Final Fantasy VII, like Metal Gear Solid, was one of those games that defined a generation of game makers to the point where it has inspired so many games, not just RPGs, but just narrative in general, that I'm like, it's hard not to put the PlayStation era of Final Fantasy at S tier. Whether it is more or less S tier than Metal Gear, that's a question.
Nah.
Yeah, well, you can shut up. Well, let's get the opinions of the crowd, Hunter. Kyle,
I was gonna say, I've only played FF7 Remake, and I enjoyed the fucking hell out of that game, and I've still not even finished it.
It's probably for the best, to be honest, because the last bit is the weakest. But you know, your opinion's probably higher than ours. But I'd still say that Metal Gear is probably higher just because of its impact, especially the
Final
earlier
Fantasy
ones.
also took a lot of inspiration off older games as well.
I feel like also, Final Fantasy, we are just talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, kind of 12.
If you're talking about
maybe.
like Sony-wise, I don't know, because I can't comment on the later games.
I think right in between them is perfectly fine. I think that's a nice little...
Yeah.
Crash and Metal Gear?
Metal Gear is still at the top, and then Final Fantasy is in between Crash, and that is where I'd put it.
Cool.
Ratchet and
Yeah,
Clank.
that's fair. Never played.
That's a cry. That's a war crime.
What?
Write that one down. Kyle has never played a Ratchet and Clank game. What a crime. Did you know Rift Apart is part of the PS Extra game? I wish we had said
Yes.
that before. I wish you'd known that.
I do
little
know it's
tidbit
part of
beforehand.
it.
That's crazy.
Did you know I
Just
own a
before we start this
Ratchet and Clank
conversation,
1
this
on
video is
PS2?
sponsored by Crash.
That's crazy. I think Ratchet and Clank's solid. I think it's very solid.
That's so good.
Where on the list of solids? I have no idea.
Above
Let me get
I would say below Crash in the same tier.
you putting goated? Right, okay, right. Let's calm down here.
Okay.
Let's calm down.
I've always really enjoyed Ratchet and Clank. I
Oh,
just
here's the
haven't
thing.
played them a lot.
I think Ratchet
In a long
1,
time.
2, and 3 absolutely incredible. I think 4 is decent. I think we'll ignore the spin-offs on PSP for the sake of a fair trial. I think the Future trilogy on PS3, I think A Crack in Time is the best Ratchet and Clank game ever made. Tools is pretty... They're all very decent.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing revolutionary, but very solid and very decent platformers.
I've only played the two of them here so far. The one that came out on the PS4 and now
2016 and Rift Apart.
Yeah. And I liked them both quite a bit, but I'd say it's very analogous to what I feel about Spider-Man, where they're really good. Probably, I'll definitely play the next one because I feel like it's, again, going to be a consistent amount of fun to have with the game. It's also like... Neither one of them really prompted me to think about them ever again after playing them, unless brought up in conversation. Like, I really liked 2016 for the time I played it, because it'd been like a million years since I had played a new 3D platformer.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
We were in a drought. Yeah.
But every time I've heard people who played the rest of them talk about it, it's like, oh, that wasn't very good or whatever.
It is one of the worst ones, yeah, for sure, if you've played the other ones. But it's still solid. I have a friend who's only played, like you, he borrowed my copy of Rift Apart about 3 months ago and still hasn't played it. But, he played 2016 and really liked 2016. And I think that's a good hopping on point. I definitely think it's solid. There's a part of me that thinks it's better than Spider-Man. as a franchise, to be honest with you, just because of how many good games there have been.
Yeah. Like it's not very hard to imagine that the series has just been as good as the ones I've played.
And the thing is,
consistently in the years before I was playing them.
Jack, I don't know which ones you've played.
So, like, I don't remember the ones as well, but I know it was, like, the earlier ones. But the only thing I was going to say is, like, it's the same thing when I was talking about, like, God of War or, like, Horizon. Like, I've never heard anyone comment about, like, Rift Apart.
Rift Apart's fantastic. People were pretty positive.
It's really good.
Rift
I
Apart.
just never
But also,
hear anything.
Well, that's because it's a that's because like every game that comes out nowadays it's like 8 to 12 hours long. You play it, you put it on back on the shelf, and you go, "That was great. See you in it for the next one in 7 years. It's gonna be a good time." Because that's what most modern gaming is now. It's like there are very few. There's one or two linchpin games in a year where people are like, you pick a year and you go 2018, and you go, okay. God of War 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2. Those were and Smash Bros. They were probably the three linchpin games that everybody was talking about. And then everybody else played the rest of the games that came out this year, had a great time, but they weren't sticking around like those three were. Or you go back to 2017 and you go straight to Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey and Nier Automata. There's like certain ones that will always Persona. There'll always be a linchpin, and then the rest of them. Doesn't stop them from being solid. Like, I genuinely would put put them above Spider-Man just because Spider-Man's had 3 really good games. Ratchet has had like 9 really good games, and 2 and 3 from the PS2 still hold out up to this day. Are still great.
Gravity Rush as well.
Below Gravity Rush, yeah, because I think Gravity Rush is just filled with charm and personality. Like, Gravity Rush 1 and 2 are very special games that if you haven't played, I almost insist, like I beg you to go and play those games because they are extremely special, like very special games.
You won't really find anything else like them.
That's the thing. Whereas Ratchet and Clank, there are other games like Ratchet and Clank, but they're done really solidly.
Yeah.
The charm in Ratchet and Clank games is just really good as well.
On the writing's fantastic in all of them.
Yeah, I love all of it.
Yeah. Then, like, Gravity Rush and Ratchet and Clank to me are neck and neck. Like, if we go by nostalgia, then Ratchet and Clank's better. If I go by, like, how unique they are, then Gravity Rush is higher.
Yeah, like, which one would you be more excited if they announced a new one tomorrow?
Gravity Rush, because I would not see that coming, whereas Ratchet and Clank, I expect a new one.
It's inevitable.
Eventually.
At some point.
Yeah. They may be making Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Verse and Wolverine or whatever have you, while they stick all their fingers in the Marvel pie until that explodes, right? But eventually they'll come crawling back to Ratchet and Clank and I'll have a great time. Yeah. Has anyone played Motorstorm?
I don't even know what this is.
Shall we piss people off and just say cringe just for fun?
No, I'm down. Let's not even look at it.
Cool, that sounds great. There we go. Resistance Fall of Man. Has anyone played Resistance?
I don't know what this is.
What is this?
This is Insomniac shooter that they made for the PS3.
I was gonna say, why is this written in like free-to-play war game font?
It's made it's written.
It looks like a mobile game font.
It's written in 2008 cringe grey and monotone font.
Even
yeah.
better.
You know how they say
it was written in the PS3 font.
Cringe.
You know how they say don't judge a book by its cover?
I 100% judge Resistance by its cover. I've heard people really like Resistance, but I never got into them. I thought they were pretty meh, to be honest. I also think that Resistance is kind of the we've got Gears of War at home. It always screams to me. It screams to me like Resistance was made because Xbox had Gears of War. And they were just like, we need an alien third-person shooter. And then they made Resistance.
So they made a bad BioShock.
They made Insomniac do this?
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
Like, people like them. Some people really like Resistance. I'm not one of them.
Was Resistance... Am I thinking of a different game, but did it have the cool, like, destruction technology in it? Or was that like Red Faction? Am I thinking?
I don't know. You'd have to look that one up, Hunter. I'm either putting it in meh or alright, but because there's no sympathizers here, I feel like we stick it in meh and apologise to Resistance fans if we are really missing a gem of a video game series here.
So above Medieval or...
Yeah, I'd put it above Medieval, just to annoy Medieval fans some more.
Cool.
Haven't they suffered enough?
Well, there's only one medieval game, Kyle. There's 3 resistances, so someone
I
must
feel like
resistance.
they've all gave up years ago. Same
Don't
way
worry, you want to hear some
characters started.
positivity? We've got some
I thought you were
back-to-back
gonna say there's
positivity
one
coming up here,
medieval
dude.
fan.
We've got some back-to-back positivity coming up. Sly Cooper, dude.
Oh baby,
This is your game, Nathan.
this was the mascot platformer I grew up with.
Dude, if I was being biased, I'd put it in goated because the original Sly games from Sucker Punch are goated.
Dude, if I was being biased, I'd make a whole new tier above goated.
Damn, that
Bring
game-
it back.
Raccooned.
Bring it
Please
back.
bring it back. It's really good.
You know what?
I'm so glad.
You're right, man.
I'm
You're
so
right,
glad.
Dude. You're right. Bring it back. Fuck yeah,
I think
dude.
it's
I'm
here.
all about this. Bring it back, baby.
Bring it back. I feel like that changes the. I feel like that reframes some of the other ones we've gotten.
No, you don't get a
like
choice.
Gravity Rush.
You don't get a choice. Gravity
I'd put
Rush.
Gravity Rush up there too.
Yeah, like if you're gonna put a Bring It Back tier, is what I'm saying. But like, no, I think you could make a decent argument for it being in goated. Like,
No, I would put it in.
it was
goated.
never. It was never the. I never got around to these games. I will someday. I promise. But
You should have fun playing it on either PS3 or PS2 because they didn't make a good way for you to play any of them. Thanks, Sony.
yeah, it's okay. The local
Oh my God, I just realized
retro
something.
store
What have you realised,
sells
Jack?
them.
We don't have PlayStation All Stars.
Who
Oh,
cares?
what a shame.
Anyway, what I was saying
And
was...
Hang
no
on.
one noticed.
For all the PlayStation All-Stars fans, just know it'll be right next to Motorstorm in cringe. Don't you worry. It'll be right down there. Don't you worry.
But what I was saying is I could see the argument for it being in like the top tier because it defined the PS2 generation to a lot of people as far as...
I just think, to me, Sly was always the unsung hero. People would talk about, like, Ratchet and Jak would always be in all the advertising and stuff like that, but I was like, Sly was always the better... It was doing something interesting again. It wasn't...
Yeah.
It was nothing like the other platformers that were around at that point. Everything was going into a direction, as you saw with Ratchet and Jak, of we'll make platformers that don't really have
Let's
platforming
add
challenges.
guns.
It's just guns. Yeah, it's just shooting things and it's like Sly was like, no, let's take inspiration from stuff like Metal Gear with stealth and do like make a stealth platformer filled with
Yeah.
personality, with a comic book art style. And I genuinely do think the Sly trilogy is the best trilogy of platformers on the PlayStation 2. I genuinely do think that. I think they're all fantastic. Is Sly 4 lower quality than the other 3? Yes, undoubtedly, but
But it also
fuck
wasn't
you.
Sucker
Yeah.
Punch behind that.
Yeah, but fuck you. I still think that there's some things to like about Sly 4. I'm not a Sly 4 hater. I still think there's some pretty fun mechanics behind it. But yeah, I'd put it at the bottom of GOATed, dude. I love Sly. Sly's fantastic.
It's really good. It's like a stealth platformer. It's just such a cool concept, and I haven't seen it done since. Like,
Do you know the only game where I kind of can think, like, that I honestly think about, and it's such a fucking long shot, it's such a wild thing to compare it, Dishonored.
Oh.
Because that
Yeah,
game is
I
all about
understand what you
being
mean.
sneaky,
all about how
jumping
you
on
move
rooftops,
and
sneaking
being
around,
sneaky.
teleporting everywhere. And it's like,
Dishonored is just Sly Cooper with more murder.
yeah, basically, it's grown up Sly Cooper. No, but you know, stuff like that, stuff like Thief, which kind of gives you that kind of vibe. But again, Sly, I feel like, was in its own little league. I'm very fond of it. Spyro the Dragon. Solid franchise. I don't think it's as goated as Crash, because I feel like because Crash came first, it takes all the credit, and rightfully so in a lot of ways.
I'd almost argue that Spyro sits in pretty good.
Yeah, that's second tier, isn't it? Yeah. Where are we? Where are we in this?
No, that's third tier now. 'cause
We've
we can bring it back to
changed the
Sly.
names of these a lot, but
Wait, so we're goated
I'd say-
solid. Yeah, like. Wait, you think it's
I'm-
it's with Ghost of Tsushima? Excusez-moi?
Silver
How,
blue?
how dare you not show up for 8 months and blaspheme in this household, Jacobean? How dare you?
Okay, maybe I'm just behind on the tier list, right?
I
But
think we're
what
all
I
behind
have-
on the tier list.
All I have is Slice and Bring It Back at the top.
No, that was a
Goated.
joke. It's in goated. It's at the bottom of goated. It's at the bottom of goated.
Let me move it back there then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You keeping up, kids? Are you audio listeners? Are you keeping up with this?
Let me just delete my role of
Jack
all of
feels
the
like an
spot-
audio listener right
All
now.
of the Spotify lads have like the detective corkboard with the red string to follow this right now.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm
so
impressed they were able to set that up.
I would still put Spyro in pretty good.
What's pretty good? I've got goated, solid, alright, meh, and cringe. Where are we?
I've got goated pretty good, meh, cringe.
That's close
Okay,
enough. That's
so
close enough. So you're saying
that's-
put it in orange?
Dark orange,
What
whatever.
did
Yeah.
H?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Second
cool.
tier.
tier.
Yeah,
Top of
second
second
tier.
tier.
Cool.
God.
Above God. of
I'm
War.
only saying that because Spyro
Put
has
it-
not had a good game since, well, fucking ever.
Well, we're just counting the 3 originals which were exclusive here. That's all we're basing that off of right now. Because those were the only ones that are PlayStation exclusive. Same with Crash. And that's Activision's fault for being a bunch of pussies. Make Spyro 4, you cowards. Like, god damn it. What
Either
do I have
way-
to do?
Either way, like, Spyro just never clicked with me as much as Crash did.
Well, you're
Yeah.
stupid.
I'm
I'm kidding.
no,
I'm
I'm with him. I've
kidding.
never,
I'm also
I've
with
never
you.
been one for like the open world.
I only ever
collectathons.
played the first one on the Reignited.
They're
trilogy,
really
and
good fucking
then
games, but
This was like shortly before I ended up getting my job back in like 2019 was when I played the first Spyro or the Reignited version of the first Spyro, and I thought it was entertaining enough, but like it didn't feel like there was too much there.
I feel like
The first one is very basic, but
The
2
first
and
one is
3
very
definitely did a.
I'd say
It
it doesn't appeal to
iterated.
the, it doesn't
Alright.
appeal to the Subway Surfer TikTok generation nowadays.
who
See,
cares
if
about
anything-
appealing to
if
them? Metal Gear
anything-
doesn't
if
appeal to
anything,
those
I'd
idiots.
say Spyro would appeal more than Crash in that regard because there's shinies everywhere. So every second that they turn around, they get
you
something
right,
to.
dude.
No,
fix
but
the
it's
The
game
too
boxes
open.
aren't shiny.
It's too open adventure. You put a shiny right in front of someone, they're gonna be like, okay, cool.
I don't think they care, dude. I think that they're waiting for. They just want something to run around in while they listen to their podcast for the 16th time, of the day, like the 16th podcast. Leave them to it. Here's the thing, right? Is I really like Spyro. I would put it. It seems we've just got the Insomniac games bar resistance in there, like in order here, as far as I see it. But I think Ratchet is their strongest,
funny.
then Spyro, then Spider-Man. That is probably how I would see that. It's very solid.
Spyro, man.
Revolutionary to their time. Like I say, I think they were probably the best version of a collectathon that came out during that generation, and they only got better.
So Ratchet, then Spyro, then God of War, then Gravity, then Spider-Man.
No!
What the fuck?
Right, you're really far behind. You know what? You live in your own world, Jack.
You
We'll
know
see
what?
what you can say later. You know what? You can let him cook. Anyone for Siphon Filter?
I like it.
I don't know a thing about this.
Do you like it more
No
than
comment.
Eyepet, though, Hunter? Do you like it
Oh,
more than
God.
Eyepet?
What a bar.
He's not. He doesn't sound confident.
No. I was writing the timestamp down for it was my issue.
Oh.
Yep.
But Siphon Filter, I remember enjoying the PS1 games quite a bit. I kind of fell off after those because they put them on the PSP, and I have not been partaking in the Siphon Filter relocation program that PlayStation has been using.
The
premium
PlayStation can't be asked to make a
tier of-
PS2 emulator program. Yeah.
I've not been partaking in that, but like for what they were at the time, I think they were really good. They weren't as great as like Metal Gear or anything, but they were in a similar kind of vein. They had enough about them to be entertaining and still competent at what they were doing. Even going back, like when the PlayStation revamp happened last year, setting people on fire with the taser still tickles me. So,
Where would you put it then? 'Cause
Somewhere
I
in
don't
the-
think anyone else has played them. So
yeah, somewhere in the B tier, I'd say. So
That's the middle for
what-
people keeping track.
yeah, whatever we're calling that.
all
one.
right, we're calling it all right. I
Yeah.
believe.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'd put it in all right.
Would you put it above, below Ghost of Tsushima?
Oh, it's higher than Little Big Planet.
I'd probably put it under there, as I can't in good faith just give it to above Ghost off of childhood memory.
Better than Eyetoy?
Yeah,
Better than Jak and Daxter?
I don't know.
We'll
I've
go
never
with
played
yes.
Jak
We'll
and
go for the
Daxter.
benefit of the doubt for you there. There you go, buddy.
Okay.
Grand.
I appreciate your opinion, so we'll put that higher.
Way
Next
to go,
off,
Walter.
little shitter here coming up now. The Last of Us. Never heard of it.
Put it in cringe. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Shut the
Last
fuck
of
up.
all, hear about it.
I will 100% guarantee you that I will clickbait the thumbnail by having The Last of Us in the bottom, just for shits and giggles. So I hope you enjoyed that one, Last of Us fans.
It's the 2 greatest video games ever.
So good
To
they don't
remake
have to
it
make
4
anything
times in the
else.
past 5
Who
years.
needs other video games?
We don't need it. We just need
Shout out
the
to
online
we don't
forever.
even need Last of Us factions, dude. They're so confident they don't need
I'd
that.
almost argue it's the Skyrim of this generation.
What, doesn't fuck off? Yeah, I kind of agree. Here's the thing about The Last of Us is The Last of Us is a fantastic story.
It's a fantastic story.
If anything,
Is it fantastic?
I feel
the
like this
fifth
is.
time?
I feel like we're starting to get a controversial feeling towards this. I honestly think that the HBO show might be the best way to experience The Last of Us. At least the first one. I'm starting to feel like. Not because the game's bad, but because the HBO show was so fucking good that I'm like, yeah. If your choice is, if you're somebody who isn't a gamer and your choice is either buying a console and playing the game for the first time or going and watching a
Watch
show
Pedro
starring Pedro
Pascal.
Pascal, go watch Pedro, dude. He's great. Like, now if they fuck up part 2, then we'll have a different conversation. But it's
Okay,
a great,
but judging by game alone,
fantastic story. Both in
It's a
part
good
1 and 2.
story inside of a game that I would describe the gameplay as good enough.
And 2
say
I think
top
has
of,
no
like-
2 I think has a very good. I think 2's gameplay is pretty.
Yeah,
damn good.
2's gameplay is really good. Like, it for what it's doing, I think 2's
Although-
gameplay is great.
I think I put it between Ratchet and Clank and Spyro.
That's a controversial opinion. I think I'd put it. Here's
Although
the
you've
thing.
got
I think
Gravity kinda
Here
lower.
the thing is. I think God of War 2018 is a better game than The Last of Us 2013.
I like both the new God of Wars more than both the new Last of Us
You
games.
see, I don't. I like Last of Us Part 2 more than I like both God of War and God of War Ragnarok, probably.
Oh, a little bit of a differentiation.
But I also, here's the thing is, I also realize now having played Resident Evil 4, having played a Resident Evil, I now do realize that all The Last of Us is trying to do gameplay wise is be Resident Evil, just clunkier.
yeah,
Hell
Resident
yeah.
Evil and not as fun to
I feel like
play.
it's
Yeah.
always been like that.
It's
Even when
like,
I
let's
played,
try and be
like,
Resident Evil, but let's make the UI in game time so that you have to actually sit on your arse and rummage through your bag and think about what you've done, like a little dickhead.
Even when I played
And
through
Joel
the
and Ellie are
Insomniac
not
remaster,
busting out suplexes either, so
Unfortunately. Hear
Even
me
for
out,
me
Neil.
playing-
Neil, parry mechanic in part 3. Hear me out. Everything's better with a parry mechanic. It just is.
true.
It's true.
I was just gonna say, even
or
for
maybe
me,
introduce
he's
the
not someone
bullet
that's played a
time
lot of-
dodge from RE3.
Go on. Anyway, Jack, sorry, what are you saying, Jack?
Sorry, for me, that's not played a lot of like PlayStation games, and Last of Us is one of the games I've played. I still find it quite really fun, like new. To me,
Don't get me wrong.
because-
Right, I always bash on part 1 being clunky as fuck, but I've also played through The Last of Us Part 1 5 times. So I
didn't play
obviously
I
do
didn't play
like the
PS3
gameplay.
version.
I also play, although I've not played the PS5 remake, I've only played the PS4 remaster.
Yeah, so that's what I was play-
I've only played the
I've-
second version of The Last of Us. I haven't played the third version.
Well, if we're judging, are we judging this whole series off every remaster?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing:
Well,
is
that's all it is.
I would honestly, I hate to do it to my
Fuck
man
the
Gravity
series,
Rush.
man.
I would put it below God of War, but I would still put it pretty high and solid because there is a really solid experience there to be had. That's what I would say.
I feel like if you've not played a lot of genres similar to The Last of Us, it's super enjoyable.
Yeah, so most people who've played The Last of Us will like it.
Yeah.
You've got a point.
If I was to rank it myself, right, from my own experience, I would say it's probably between like God of War and Gravity Rush.
That's
Or
also
Bullet
where
Bill
I would
Rush.
probably put it. I do love Gravity Rush. I think Gravity Rush is fantastic. But
I can't
also,
comment on Gravity Rush, but I'll let Ethan's
the reason that we
opinion.
would, again, also, do want to mention, the reason we put Metal Gear so high is because it basically defined multiple generations of AAA video games to come. And whether you like it or not, the original Last of Us has defined AAA gaming for the past 10 years. Like, every AAA game has tried to take and capture what little bit of storytelling The Last of Us has. And, like, The Last of Us kind of was a game where it was narrative first, to the point where it is like a beloved narrative as a TV show, as something else. It can be turned into something else. And I think every fucking game tries to do that now, and fails most of the time, but every game tries to be The Last of Us in that regard, for better or worse. Hunter, where would you put it, and then we'll work out where we're fucking mix and matching it.
I mean, the spot that you're trying to put it in makes sense to me. Below God of War, or in between God of War and Gravity Rush.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
Do we all agree on that?
Let's go with that. Let's just go with that, Jack. We'll be here forever if we don't. We've still got such massive games to talk about, such as Twisted Metal, everyone's favourite.
Oh man, I like Twisted Metal.
Of course you do.
Man, I have much more of a wave of positive feeling going into this now after playing 2 back in the summer.
Jack's gone off, and we all know you're a massive fan of Anthony Mackie, Hunter. So I can't wait to hear your opinions on Twisted Metal.
Oh man,
Second season coming to Peacock, guys. Don't you forget
I
it.
still haven't watched the show, but if his performance in that show is anything like his appearance at the Game Awards, I think I'll skip it.
How dare you? National treasure, dude. Everyone loves Anthony Mackie. If it was between Anthony Mackie or Simu Liu out of these Game Awards appearances, I'd still pick Anthony Mackie. Let me be frank.
Oh my god. Jeff should stop putting people who are affiliated with Marvel on these shows.
Yeah, just all celebrities in general. If you're gonna bring Timothée Chalamet on, at least make him modern Xbox controller as he comes on. You know what I'm saying? Like, give him something to do. Prove it. Yeah. Make him prove it live on stage.
So the thing about Twisted Metal is that, like, when the games are good, they are really good for the thing that they're doing. But also, and like, I haven't played 3 or 4 in anything that could be described as recent, but it seems like those are messy these days. Like, I remember 3 was like the one I played a lot as a kid, but I don't remember anything about it, and all of the production value, like all of the things I can observe about it without actually putting it back in my hands, makes it seem really shoddy. Like, the production value for like the endings and stuff, and the way that the tone of the game is just inferior in 3 and 4. But then they brought it back with Black. Like, it has some really high highs and some low lows, and a pretty consistent like middle ground there. So probably the all right tier.
Where in all right are we going? Above Siphon Filter?
I'd say so, just because I've experienced
more
of these.
Tsushima.
You've experienced more of them than Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, technically speaking, I've experienced 100% of Ghost of Tsushima. There's a couple of Twisted Metal games that I haven't played yet.
Oh, I like these percentages. Right, why are we putting that?
Oh, man's throwing math into this.
But I'd probably, under Ghost, but after or above Siphon Filter,
fine.
I'd say is reasonable.
Right.
Like, if you were to ask me to pick one of the PS1 games from either of those series, I'd be like, Twisted Metal 2. Let me play it again.
Right. I don't know if Jack's plays an Uncharted, so we'll wait for him to come back. I know he hasn't played a Killzone, so shall we talk about that? Has anyone played a Killzone real quick?
No.
Right, cool. I'm sticking it in fucking Resistance jail then. It can go live over there with the mediocre PS3 shooters. I'm sorry. I don't care if it was pretty on the PS4 launch. I don't care. It can go sit in the mediocre. Anyone makes a boring shooter, I'm sticking you right there, dude. If we ever do an Xbox one of these, we'll just have maybe shooter category and we just stick them all in there.
Oh my god, it'll be like everything that isn't Hi-Fi Rush will go there.
No, that'll be the quickest video we've ever made.
That's it. We're gonna have to wait like a couple of years for an Xbox One, so we have some IPs we actually like.
Yeah.
So where did Twisted Metal go?
above Siphon Filter, and we just put Killzone below Resistance. I don't know why I put it below it, but I feel like that's just because I'm putting Insomniac games in a higher regard than Gorilla. Sorry, Gorilla.
Uncharted went where?
We waited because we didn't know if you'd played Uncharted or not. Have you played Uncharted? We're doing Uncharted now.
I think we've lost him.
Did you say Killzone or Uncharted?
Killzone is below Resistance because we know you've definitely not played a Killzone, but we didn't know if you'd played Uncharted, so we thought we'd skip it and come back when you were back. Is what we decided.
Great choice. So I'm glad to tell you that I have not played any of the last segments.
Have you started Uncharted?
I don't think I've even played it in co-op, if it's even possible.
That's okay. That's great. Perfect. Right, let's talk about Uncharted then, Hunter.
Well, don't worry. I'll do you one better, Jack, before you guys start. I own the first 4 Uncharted games.
So you might as well just say, I own the Uncharted games. Lost Legacy is just a DLC anyway, so you basically can say you own the Uncharted games, because that's all.
Well, I don't know how many of these there are.
The 4. That's it. And Lost Legacy.
I own 4 of them.
Does he have the Tom Holland movie?
Dun, 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 dun. Knowing Kyle's luck, that like if he had given it one more month, then all PS5s would have been bundled with the Uncharted movie on Blu-ray, and then he would have been stuck with it like he was with the original Uncharted. I think people are negative towards Uncharted more than they should be. I think Uncharted's fun. I think it's fine. Do I think it's the best thing ever?
I think they're okay, but also like if it never shows up again, I wouldn't shed a tear.
See, I would.
You know,
mainly because 4 was good. Like 4 was like 1 through 3. I'm like they're fun, but 4 was good. Where I was like, oh no, I really liked 4. I had a lot of fun with it. Mainly because they didn't do the funny twist at the end every time where they're like, look, it's weird monster thing. They didn't do that, and I was like, that's cool. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I'd say Uncharted is solid.
But where, Ethan?
I'll put it
I'd
above.
be willing to stick it.
Is it better or worse than golf?
I feel like golf is in such a I feel like we're being too kind to golf, dude. I think we're...
Shut the fuck up.
The
like
benefits of going
horizon.
early.
It's really funny.
I feel like golf has got a fucking good show. Jack is literally like, I've played 3 games, I'm keeping golf up there. Like, fuck you. Like,
but I love golf, man.
With it. I would put Uncharted above Little Big Planet.
Oh, would you?
Okay.
Yes, because I think 4 is that 4 and Lost Legacy are that good. If we're talking about the original 3, then no, I would put.
I think that drops it down an entire tier.
Yeah, I genuinely, if it was just the original 3, I would put it like. I genuinely would put it below Infamous. I think.
This tier list's a mess.
Shut the fuck up! It's not it's my fault mainly.
This is how the Nintendo one made. What?
This is worse than the Nintendo one. This is gonna get so much more hate than the Nintendo one. I can tell you this right now for a fact.
Who cares, dude? We're having
That's
a good time.
because Nintendo fans seem to at least like
Happy
a lot of
200.
Nintendo series.
Wipeout,
PlayStation.
Wipeout. Let's roll this up. We've been here nearly 2 hours. Let's get this ball rolling.
All right.
Wipeout. Is it just basically a third-party game with Wipeout?
It's F-Zero. It's Sony's F-Zero. Let's be real here. That's what it is. It's Sony's F-Zero.
So it's going in meh.
It's got more
like Nintendo's F-Zero.
No, because it's better than that. It's better than Nintendo's F-Zero. I'll give it that. But
so it's better than Resistance Fall of Man.
No, yeah, I wouldn't put it above Jak and Daxter though. I'd put it between Jak and Eyetoy. Is anyone against that? Like that's where I'd put it.
That sounds fair.
No, you're putting Eyetoy down more.
Right, even better then.
Cry.
You can have you're lucky that I'm not touching golf. You can be grateful for that one.
I was gonna say it's a good franchise.
The fact that everybody's golf is higher in our tier list than like 20 other franchises is like baffling. But oh well, it's living.
This is
My
hilarious.
influence is.
And then finally, last but not least, Astrobot, which only has 2 entries, a VR one that none of us have played, and a PS5 demo free entry thing that everybody got that we've all played. Oh, Kyle, fucking hell. Well, me and Hunter have played it. I like Astrobot.
I mean,
And oh boy, did I like it.
How do you
like-
compare a VR game towards everything else?
well, this isn't.
I
Well, there's
don't
lucky
because
for
I
us,
haven't played it.
there was a PS5 version that wasn't a VR version, so we have an actual game to discuss as well. And it's better than everything and all right, so we can move it straight up to solid. To be honest, it's better than Big
Damn
Planet
it.
that one Astro game is. I'll say that.
Put it over Uncharted.
I'd put it over
Horizon.
golf. I'm that fucking buzzed. I'd put it over golf.
All right, let's go.
All right,
yeah.
I'll give you it. So where's it going?
I'd put it between Spider-Man and everybody's golf at the moment. That's where I'd put it. If we get a full PS5 game, no joke.
Wait, everybody's got. I didn't realize everybody's golf is so high. What?
Yeah, it was. That's why
Oh
I'm
my
saying
God.
that's... Yeah. I would genuinely... If Astro gets a full PS5 game, I genuinely think it would be, like, top of solid, dude. Like, genuinely. It could
Yeah,
go
like if it would get a full PS5 game and then another one in a few years, like Astrobot has goated potential.
Astrobot's the
I
one
just
to watch.
remember.
It's the next slide
I just
in
remember
Crash.
Sam speedrunning Astrobot.
Dude,
Yeah, that was the
I'm not
VR
joking.
one.
If they ever did a remake of it for PSVR 2, I probably would buy a PSVR 2. I'll be very close to getting one because I'm like that.
I
like,
also remember Ethan blasting Fire Emblem music whilst he was doing it.
yeah, those were the times.
That was a good time.
Anyway,
Good thing.
everybody, it's time to read the mess we've made before we wrap this
Whoa.
up. So here
Oh,
is our tier list of tragedy that we have made for PlayStation franchises. If we missed one, consider yourself lucky, to be honest, because you probably wouldn't want to know where it went. But
I actually can't believe Metal Gear lasted as well as it did.
of course it did. It's Metal Gear and Hunter's
Was there
here.
any doubt?
Hunter would have killed me if I moved it. Anyway. Go to tier, S tier, top of it, Metal Gear Solid, followed by Final Fantasy, the PlayStation ones from the PS1 and 2 mainly, Crash Bandicoot, the PS1 games, and Sly Cooper. Solid, top of Solid, God of War, followed by The Last of Us, Gravity Rush, Ratchet and Clank, Spyro the Dragon, Marvel Spider-Man, Astrobot, Everybody's Golf. Just want to reiterate, thanks to Jak, all of these franchises are worse than Everybody's Golf. I want that on the record.
Good.
Horizon.
Send all of your complaints to
Man, it has Ratchet and Clank.
Horizon.
It has Ratchet and Clank. That's
got
basically
cores.
just
Yeah.
S tier.
Send all your complaints on the back of a 20.
Yeah, please send all of your complaints to @Jacobin on X/Twitter, and that is that Horizon is worse than Everybody's Golf. Thank you and good day for that one. And also, Uncharted's worse than both of them, right? Let's also say that
Yeah.
one. And Little Big Planet is next after that. At the top of the all right tier, we have Gran Turismo, a game that none of us have really played, but it managed to get to the top of it. Followed by Infamous, followed by Ghost of Tsushima. That'll be a spicy pick. Twisted Metals after that, then Siphon Filter, then Jak and Daxter, then Wipeout, then Eyetoy. Again, remember, all these games are worse than the Eyetoy. Want that one out there as well. Ape Escape, Eyepet, Buzz. These are worse than Eyepet and Buzz. Resistance, Killzone, Medieval, and Singstar. And then let's not forget Motorstorm at the bottom, a game none of us have played or know what it is. So it could honestly be goated for all we know. We'll never know. We refuse to look it up.
I don't know. I don't like cars, though, so probably not.
Yeah, it's a PS3 car game.
Yeah, but was it
Congratulations,
a
guys,
non-simulation one? If it was like, who knows? We might have had Fun Hunter. We might have pew-pewed like a load of people off the track.
Well, if it was also stuck in the PS3, then even if it wasn't simulation, it was probably still struggling to be fun.
True.
Gray
Good
and
point.
brown, yeah. That's what the
Good point.
screenshots look like.
And there you go. With that, that's our tier list. All links are on
Yeehaw.
screen. Right? No, they're not. They don't want to work under. You're just gonna have to go into the ether. I can try it one more time.
I'm just gonna wave my hands to summon them until it
Oh,
works.
you did it! You did it! Good job! Good job! Anyway, you can go follow us on X/Twitter if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside the podcast. Thank you for coming back on the show, Jak, for a very educated topic for you.
It was really good to be back again, and I hope I'm back more often with no.
You're welcome
living.
anytime, dude. You're welcome, especially now that you've got a good mic. You're welcome anytime. You come on in.
Oh, that was the reason before. No, but
Yeah, that was
honestly,
no. You were busy. You're a busy man, so sometimes it's hard to get our calendars to.
Yeah, like
line up
I work
properly.
weekends a lot, so that's why I'm not on here a lot.
Yeah,
just
and we
to explain
we
to
record
other-
weekends a lot, and by a
Yeah,
lot I
I've
mean
always
almost
worked
every
weekends.
time.
Always.
So, not always.
unless there's plans from somebody
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
But hopefully I'm back more often.
Fingers crossed, definitely. We'll make sure of it. And with that, that's been our show for this week. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Next week, we have a fun one. It's a bit of a random one, and we still haven't sorted it out yet. But essentially, come back next week where we've all. How do we describe it, Hunter? How do we describe it?
The three of us, not all of us, since
Not Jack.
Jack won't be showing up next week. I don't
Yeah, Jack,
believe.
go away.
But,
We got nothing, you know.
We looked at the catalog of the PS Extra games, and we all assigned one another two of
Homework.
them. Yeah, we picked a name out of a hat, and then we assigned one to the other one.
So join us next week as we force each other to play video games that we may or may not want to. That's what we're doing. It'll be a fun one. It sounds that sounds like I should have said it like that. That was less convoluted. Join us next week where we force each other to play games that we like. There you go. We already know what the games we already don't like. We already know what the games are, so that's funny. It'll be a good one. You should definitely check it out. It ranges from indie to the most normie of normie games, so it'll be fun. But that's all for next week, I guess. So yeah, thank you so much for listening and watching this very interesting episode of the podcast. Thank you for being with us for the past 200 episodes. That's pretty crazy too. But until we next see each other, hope you have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Toodaloo.